All right, hello, my wonderful students. This is Foldable 5, Foldable number 5, the last foldable of section 6.3. And this is Rationalizing the Denominator. Muy importante to. Muy importante to. All right, so we're going to go ahead. Let me zoom in here actually so it looks a little nicer for you guys to see. So I even wrote the title and each of these because it's super important that we do this. All right, so we have here our 3 times radical 2 divided by our radical 5 minus radical 2. So you guys remember what I said about in the last foldable, how we can use the conjugates to get rid of all the radicals? So because of that, we're actually going to use the conjugates here. So we're going to go ahead and write this expression again. So we have our 3 radical 2 over our radical 5 minus our radical 2. But now we're going to multiply the bottom by its conjugate. Okay, so we're going to multiply by radical 5 plus radical 2. But remember, whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. Because by doing this, radical 5 plus radical 2 over radical 5 plus radical 2 actually means this is 1. So we're actually multiplying by 1. And when you multiply by 1, you're not changing anything. Okay? So what we did is we're using the conjugate. Oh, I keep doing that. It's a J. Conjugate of the denominator. Very important. Has to be of the denominator. If you do it of the numerator, it's not going to change the denominator. You're not going to rationalize each denominator. Has to be of the denominator. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little mini one of these. Okay, go ahead and do it right there. Little tiny one. Doesn't have to be that big for this one because, well, you'll see. And we're going to go ahead and do our multiplication here. So we have our radical 5 and then our negative radical 2 multiplied by our radical 5 and then our positive radical 2. So remember, these are the conjugates, right? So we have our radical 5 times radical 5, which is radical 5 squared, which is equal to 5 because it reduces. I'm going to skip these two right now and go to this one here, which is our negative radical 2 times radical 2. And then these end up being radical 2 squared, which gives us our negative 2. These ones, I can tell you right now, because they're conjugates, you don't really have to do them, but you have to for this video, of course. But you wouldn't really have to do them because we know they're going to add to 0 because you're multiplying by conjugates. But let's go ahead and do it just to show you. So we have our positive radical 5 times radical 2 gives us our positive radical 10. And then we have our negative radical 5 times radical 2, which gives us our negative radical 10. And as we knew already, these are opposites of each other, so they add to 0. Man, don't you love it when we're right? Okay, but this is the denominator of this. We still have our numerator, so I'm going to write our numerator in different colors so you can see. So we have our numerator is 3 radical 2 times our radical 5 plus radical 2. Okay, this is all over our denominator, which is here, but this goes to 0, so all we need to do is 5 minus 2. 5 minus 2. Okay, so I'm going to do distribution in different colors so you actually can see. So I can't use green because I already used green. I have like 5 green pens. I'm just going to do it in that black I was using. Alright, so I have this one here. So this is our equals. By the way, this is equals, also equals. So we have our radical 3 radical 2 times radical 5 plus 3 radical 2 times radical 2 all over our wonderful, wonderful 3. Alright, so we go ahead and do this. This is actually going to be 3 radical 10. It says radical 2 times radical 5 would be 2 times 5, which is 10, plus our 3 radical 2 squared, which ends up being 2, over 3. Oh, I shouldn't have. Oh, I messed up the colors, guys. So sorry. It's supposed to be purple, because that's not our answer yet, so alright. But I noticed that these two here have a 3 in common, and this one here also has a 3 in common. So I'm actually going to factor out a 3. So I'm going to factor out a 3. So it'll be 3 times radical 10 plus 2, right? Because when we reduce this, it's just 2 left over. All over our 3. We're going to go ahead and take that out. So we're going to get our radical 10 plus 2. Now we can use our pink because we have finished.